So the ambassador program for ReMO is a cross-cutting activity. That is, it doesn't exactly matter if you're already in ReMO, if you are in working group 1, 2, or 3. We don't really care about that. We care about trying to establish some form of platform, I would say, for people who want to take an active role into doing something to promote healthy, responsible workplaces in academia, to be able to discuss together and to join us. If you're not part of ReMO yet, but you are here today, you can anyway try to join the program, and then, join ReMO and then join the ambassador program is absolutely no problem. So in ReMO, we are trying to do a lot of things, and you may have seen already many webinars that Brian is organizing. So you have some form of awareness of what we are interested in. We have tried to formalize all the things that we want to do in the manifesto. I suppose a lot of you already know about the manifesto, but for us, it's really becoming a kind of a cornerstone with all the different activities or axes for action that we believe are important to address within the project. But in order for us to be able to achieve in a way those goals, we need to have the participation of as many active people as we can. So these goals are very nice when we say, oh, we want to identify best practices and we want to challenge institutions as to what they are doing. We want to help the individuals and give them some form of maybe assistance or at least some knowledge of what they could do to maintain their own mental health. But the problem is, if none of us is here to gather information to try to understand what happens in every country or in different institutions, we will never be able to really provide all those things that we say we want to provide. And that's how we started to think about we need some form of ambassadors, people who are going to be going around gathering information in such a way that they will be able to address the needs of what is happening in their own countries. So we have our ambassadors. Of course, I wanted to fool around with my pictures to keep you entertained, so I hope you appreciate them. But what's most important on that slide is to really think that the ambassadors are people who are going to be doing something. So we really would like you, if you come and join us, to realize that there may be one activity, maybe two, but then there's probably something that actually moves you towards taking some action. Perhaps you're thinking that you're interested in helping the people around you and you want to come and join us to understand how you can set up a peer-to-peer mentoring program. That's part of our actions. Maybe you actually want to know more about how you can talk to institutions to make institutions realize that mental health is an issue, or to try to propose solutions to them. Or maybe you want to address things at the political level, and so you need to try to understand the setting, let's say, in which you are. Whatever action it is that you think you want to take, we'd like, especially when it is linked to the manifesto, to support it through the program of the ambassadors. That's going to give you obviously some form of visibility, but also some tools that I'm going to mention a little bit later today. The ambassadors, they don't have to be people who have already been doing a lot in terms of mental health, because in the network, we are a lot of people who have started to take some actions, but we also have a lot of people who are here because they're interested and they want to take their first step. So you can be an ambassador either way. What's core for us, and I really want to underline that, is that you have some vision of something you would really like to do for your community, your local community, or maybe a wider community, but it's really about coming together to try and do something. We have already some applications. Some of you already registered after Brian's email, and I can already tell you that indeed there's already quite some practitioners. We have experienced faculty, or at least permanent faculty, but we also have non-permanent faculty, PhD students. So you can come from many different disciplines or many different perspectives. I think it's actually what's going to make the ambassador program richer. So I really, especially here, want to emphasize to practitioners, because I think the researchers have a tendency to always want to join, and it's good and we need you. But if you're not a researcher, but you believe that you have something that you can bring and something that you would like to do, please join us as well. And it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter anything. What matters is really your willingness. So we ask you in the application a bit to detail to us why you would like to be there. It's just because we really want to see, again, the variety of perspectives that you could bring and that we are really looking after. So what will our ambassadors do? Of course, we say we'd like you to take action, especially action that fits a bit with the agenda that's in the manifesto. But overall, you're free beings. So it's really about you to try to understand what is the action that fits the best in your own context. You could be in a country where, I don't know, I'm making it up, but maybe the politicians, they are discussing some laws, you know, regarding the number of permanent or non-permanent contracts that you can have in a row. And you actually want to go and say, this law is actually going to be, I don't know, a disaster for the mental health of researchers. So maybe you have that type of context, and then you would like to understand, how can I address it? So it's a good thing to see that maybe something is at stake in terms of mental health, but how am I going to go and talk to these people? So you could identify that, or you could identify another way of action. What we want to do is really to support you through the strength of the network, but also through the different tools that the network has to offer, the STSMs, the virtual mobility grants, and all those things that Brian can always detail if you need to. We will make sure that you have a place where you can actually discuss your experiences, be it in the training school, but also a virtual place where you can actually discuss things, where you can share it with the community. So we will also help you to try to get maybe the connections that you need, and also the visibility that your actions deserve, because, you know, a lot of us do things in the dark, but it's good to actually be able to show them and shed some light on it. And we believe that we all have some room for maybe improvement of some skills that we may not have developed as researchers, but that are needed in order to be good ambassadors. And so we will provide you some training, let's say, in that area. Oops. Especially training related to the three different levels, let's say, of the working groups. So we'll be training you on thinking about, you know, mental health for individuals, recognizing maybe issues, mental health, first aid kit, peer-to-peer mentoring that seems to be working. We'll also have a look at what's happening in terms of working with institutions. So what does it mean to try to address it in an institution, to network within an institution, how to take leadership also on that type of issues. And we will finally discuss what does it mean to try to address mental health from the policy perspective. We will have people like Janet Metcalf, that some of you have already met on the ReMO network, who will explain a bit what they have done to actually move things in the UK. But we will also discuss the communication tools maybe that we need to develop to try to talk to policymakers, which are not the same as the one we as researchers typically develop. Try to understand a little bit more how to go with that. To do that, of course, we'll have in the training school quite many different speakers, but we will also have some form of templates that we will give you to try to help you to structure maybe a bit your thinking and try to identify what type of information you're supposed to be looking for. We'll also be working with you to develop some form of action plans. So they can be very different from country to country, and depending on, you know, what is moving you in the first place to be an ambassador. But we'd like to see, you know, what is the actions that we as a network and you as an individual really want to undertake in the future. So that's a bit of what we have put together to try to create, let's say, the training school that should enable you to reach your goals as ambassadors. The training school is going to take place both face-to-face and on Zoom for those of you who may not want to travel or cannot travel at that moment. It's going to take place in June 27th to the 30th in Grenoble in France. So I've prepared for you a couple of very nice pictures, just in case you are not sure that you wanted to travel. It will be 1 week of training, well, a little bit less, like 4 days. But it's conceived in the sense that, of course, there will be training and we'll try to bring some form of formal knowledge, but it's also a lot of moment for exchange and a lot of moment for you to think and actually create this action plan that you may need. So we have really tried to make it as, I can't exactly say as light as possible because there's a lot of content, but we're also, you know, all considering that we are working on mental health. So we have planned moments for you to be able to exchange as a community, moments for you to rest, and also moments for you to be able to go and see those beautiful mountains. Because for those of you who don't know where Grenoble is, it is the capital of the Alps. And so this city is surrounded by 3 different chains of mountains that we will be able to go and have a look at. If you didn't register, there's the QR code here, but I suppose Brian can put the link again in the chat. Grenoble, again, very nice. Another way to look at it, just for you to get a sense of where it is in terms of traveling and coming here. It's 2 hours from the Geneva airport. It's 1 hour from the airport from Lyon. So quite easily reachable. People who will actually want to come here and will receive confirmation from the ReMO network will get a grant that's going to cover their travel, their accommodation and everything. So you guys should be able to come over and just enjoy the city. It's the green capital city of the European Union for this year. And if you come from physics or things like that, you may want to know that the synchrotron is here. So that could be interesting for some people. And besides that, we have quite a lot of research going on in terms of AI and engineering. So that is a bit of the setting where we are hoping to welcome you. So I hope you'll enjoy that moment. It's on a more personal note, for me, it's important. It's the first time that we will actually be able to organize an event in my school since I actually joined because of COVID. So I really look forward to finally meeting you face to face, but also being able to share all of those nice places and elements with you. So that's it. We look forward to welcoming you here. I don't know whether you have any form of question about the program, anything you would like to ask, so that me and Brian can help you to figure out what it is, how it answers your needs. And if not today, in any case, I've left my email there. You can always contact me or contact Brian, contact us on Slack and ask any questions that you may have.